So on the topic of Monty, he has a little program going into Bound for Glory as well. He has a squash match on the first episode of Impact, and then he begins pivoting to a match against Lance Hoyt.
What a big show for him with this Lance Hoyt feud.
You cannot deny the magnetic force that is Hoytamania.
I can.
So, October 15th Impact, he has another squash, perhaps an even better one against Jarrell Clark and Mikey Batts.
Well, yeah, this one kind of rocked.
The start of this match, I absolutely adore.
When they start diving and he catches him.
Yeah, he's just like, they try to get the jump on him. He launches himself over the ropes off the back of Jarrell Clark, and Monty just catches him and kills him.
Monty's like beating the shit out of him. It rules.
Yeah. Pounce to Clark, alpha bomb to Batts. Monty pins both, grabs the mic, welcomes us to the Serengeti, says nobody will stop him, which brings out Lance Hoyt, as these two have already been booked in a match at Bound for Glory. Monty backs off and Hoyt does a quick promo. I just, like, there is very few wrestlers who they could do as many squash matches on TV as they do with Monty Brown in his entire time in this company, and I will enjoy them every time, because he just hits his, like, 3 high impact moves, and they are the best.
Yeah. And I think what helps it is like it's a dude who has a very clear understanding of what his character is, and he's got the like he's like dripping charisma too. So it's like when he goes out and kills someone, you're just like fuck yeah, kill them.
And when you consider like his whole act is like short bursts of cool awesomeness, like you drop that into like a 90-second squash against 2 guys who can bump for him, which is pretty much every squash he ever does, and you're like, yeah, he's the best wrestler in the world.
Smart booking of someone.
Yeah, they know when to expose him and when to put him in like longer matches with the right guys, and like his longer matches are usually 8 to 12 minutes tops, unless it's a title match against Jarrett. Like the Hoyt match, I think is like 10, maybe even a little shorter. Like they know like this guy can't go 20, he shouldn't go 20, so he should go 90 seconds or 8 minutes. And that's all you need. It's the Bill Goldberg thing, or like to like do a more contemporary example, Wardlow. Like Wardlow doing long matches drove me nuts because the idea is like, oh, we'll show a different layer of Wardlow. It's like, fuck off. He's Wardlow. He does power bombs. He's big and he's cool. He doesn't need depth. People like that. That's all you need. Protect him. Book around it. They won't get sick of it because big guy that does power bombs is always cool. Then we had on the Go Home show, they had the 6-man tag main event as well that we've already talked about, which leads us to Lance Hoyt versus Monty Brown on Bound for Glory. Before the match, Franchise has Jarrett and Gale where they're doing the promo where he's like, give me anybody. But Monty walks in and demands Jarrett also says, screw Monty, because he's like, screw Raven, screw Abyss, screw AJ. And Monty's like, say screw Monty. Say it. Then he sniffs the fear on Jeff Jarrett.
Jeff Jarrett's like, I'll never say that, Monty.
We are buddies and we're pals. I would never say screw Monty. And as that, Monty literally sniffs the fear. He smells the man. And he's like,
I love how much Gail hates Monty Brown.
She makes so many faces at everything Monty does.
She also hasn't said a word.
Which I think is like the reasonable reaction to Monty, to be fair.
But like, I mean, like in any of these, like she's been in like 15 backstage promos and she hasn't said a single thing.
Well, when Jackie Gata comes in, she starts shouting at Jackie. So she says words in like 6 months.
Sweet.
It's a big storytelling build to Gail finally getting to speak.
Finally being allowed.
So Monty beats Hoyt. It's exactly what you think it is. It's 2 guys throwing bombs, doing moonsaults, doing big boots, doing alpha bombs, compacted into like a nice little tidy 8-minute match. I enjoyed this for what it was.
It was pretty good. Little mid-card pay-per-view affair.
Yeah, 2 big guys throwing meat, whatever that Big E quote is.
Slapping meat?
2 big guys throwing meat. That's what he said, right?
Wasn't it 2 big meaty guys slapping tits?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think you got it.
Cool.
I think you nailed it. These 2 are best of buddies as well these days. I wonder if this is the match where they became best of buddies.
I like to think so.
They bonded over this 3.25 star Bound for Glory match. 3.5? How generous was I for this?
3.5.
Yeah, I was in a good mood. Look at these boys hitting each other. You've soured on Hoyt though, have you?
Yeah, he's shown no sign of improvement. So I'm just kind of bored of him.
Well, I think bookers are at this stage as well, because this is kind of like the end of Hoytamania. Not that they really committed to Hoytamania at all.
which I think is the problem.
Yeah, they were like, let's dip our toe in the idea of the singles run. We'll give him like the singles Bobby Roode match. We'll give him a singles Abyss match, and we'll give him a singles Monty match. But what's the common denominator between those three matches, Liam?
Taking them L's.
Yes, he lost all of them. He probably, like, he should have beaten, you can understand him losing to Monty and Abyss, but he really should have beaten Roode.
Because that was like right when things were popping off too.
And like, Roode is honestly below Hoyt's station. Like Monty and Abyss are at least like upper mid-card occasional main event guys. Whereas Roode is like lower mid-card tag team guy. He's below Hoyt on the pecking order.
Yeah.
But Monty pins Hoyt with the pounce. Period. And then the final, like, major heavyweight stuff. I guess we'll do Raven now, because most of it isn't just shouting and being dragged out of the building.
Yeah, there's no like wrestling in it.
Raven does not have any matches. All he does is show up to TV every week, and then Larry Zbyszko shouts at him. He's like, "What are you doing here? I hate you. Get out."
Speaking of getting paid to do shit all.
So they aired the footage of Controversy in Canada on the first show of the month. They also aired when he tries to break into the Impact Zone and Larry gets rid of him. Then the next Impact opens with Raven once again trying to show up, security eject him.
I love how, like, upset he is every time.
And it's funny that, like, Larry is the guy he blames, which again makes a degree of sense. Larry is part of the TNA Championship Committee, so Raven's like, how the fuck did he get that title match in that place? How did that happen, Larry?
It's very suspicious that Larry just has never explained it.
And when actively asked about it, he's like, "But Mike, come on, we have other business to attend to. Come on.
You're dodging the question. So Raven's in the right.
October 15th Impact, same thing. Raven tries to jump Larry in backstage before he's dragged out by security. He's raging about being screwed out of both the title and the Bound for Glory title match. And Larry ejects him because he's mad that Nash is getting the rematch as well. So not only was he screwed, he's not getting his rematch either.
Again, completely valid complaints.
And during the six-man tag team main event of the Go Home show, Cassidy Riley comes out the announce desk, and Mike Tenay is always like he always is whenever Cassidy Riley does anything. He's like, "What the fuck's Cassidy Riley doing here?"
Who's allowing him to do anything?
But he comes out and he announces that Raven will be at Bound for Glory, and he was on the pre-show where Rhino called him a bitch.
Perfect.
And that's all he did, because he was meant to interfere in the main event, and that got scrapped when Nash had his heart troubles.
You could have just, like, gone to Raven Rhino. That would have been cool.
Or again, just do Jarrett and Raven.
But then Jarrett has to put over Raven, which he is not willing to do.
Which is ultimately the problem. I will never understand why they didn't go back to Jarrett and Raven. Well, I will. I kind of do. It's Jarrett having an ego, mostly, and them not liking each other. But, like, man, that was your biggest match. What are you doing?
Yeah,